What's up, guys? Glenn Ross here, and in a previous video I talked about my music taste, and I figured I'm out of ideas, so why not do that again? So in this video I'm going to be talking about my top 10 albums of all time. I know, generic. I have with me one can of Great Value brand sliced peaches. I also have with me one can of Del Monte brand sliced peaches. I am not sponsored by either Del Monte or Great Value. I am simply hungry. So I will start with this one. I have been into music for a while, and in the other video I made, I definitely explained it a lot more in depth. But for this list, it is just understandable that I have one specific type of music that I am into more than any others, and that is the kind of internet core, rate your music core, um, like nerd music that you would see on these sites, unfortunately. But, you know, if a lot of people like it, I'm probably going to like it too. Okay. So the number 10 album on my list is going to be Heavy Metal by Cameron Winter. Because it's just a nice album. It's my top album of 2024 as well, which is interesting considering how I was so confident during that year that it was going to go to Smile by Porter Robinson, because that is also a fantastic album. But Heavy Metal by Cameron Winter is also very good. I've listened to it quite a few times, one would say, and it is very interesting as an album because it's very simple musically, but very complex lyrically, and it's just an easy listening experience. I can put it on anytime, and I put it on every time. But Heavy Metal by Cameron Winter is a good album, and there really is nothing else to that for reasons I would include in this list. There is nothing underlying going on here. My number 9 album is going to probably be In Rainbows by Radiohead. And it is kind of another one of those that is very obviously going to appear on someone's list. Obviously, I am a Radiohead fan. You could probably tell. But I just think that In Rainbows is the most rewarding album that they've made. And it is like very consistent in its sound and texture, and it is just also very easy to put on and listen to. And really, I like it even more because of what it got me into as far as listening goes, because it really was the gateway to me for opening into like art rock, indie rock kind of adjacent stuff. Very nice songs as well. Body Snatchers is impossible to stay still to, and I will attest to that because one time I was driving while playing the song, and I had to immediately stop and film a video of me dancing on the side of the road, and that video is up on this channel. Number 8 on this list is going to be Velocity Design Comfort by Sweet Trip. These peaches are not staying on the fork. This album is crazy, and really that is the only way I can describe it, because it does so much with its songs and with its kind of musical palette. It really takes you in every direction that you could possibly go in, and then some. So really, I would say that all I can say about this album is that it's just crazy, entertaining, and good. It's like the best parts of all my favorite types of music combined into one album. And crazy. Number 7 on this list is another interesting one. Because it's the only album that I've ever cried to on first listen. And that album is Census Designated by Jane Remover. Now, Jane Remover is kind of the GOAT when it comes to all things music. I mean, she really can basically nail any style that she attempts, and it's honestly incredible to see. Every album of Jane Remover's is the greatest album of all time, perhaps. But I am just in love with the sound um, of Census Designated, and it does hold that emotional relevancy to me. So I did thoroughly enjoy it. Um, Very good, very consistent. Um, love the texture on that album. These peaches, not so much. But it's okay. Number 6 on this list is Emergency and I by the Dismemberment Plan. I playfully describe it as the only good emo album to exist, which I'm only half joking about. Um, Another gateway into indie rock, math rock kind of adjacent stuff. I discovered it and it was like, hey, this album is pretty much about someone who has no idea what they're doing with their life. And I looked at myself in the mirror and said, yeah. In other words, though, this album sounds amazing. I love the guitars and kind of the crazy drumming on some bits of it, and also the fact that it can go from a mellow, kind of dramatic song to something crazy and quirky without losing very much of its charm. And for that, it is at number 6 on my list. Number 5 on my list of top albums of all time is going to be The Lion's Roar by First Aid Kit. Now, yes, I discovered this album from the title track, The Lion's Roar, which was presented in the Long Dark, which is a video game that I very much love. The 5th episode of the Wintermute story mode came out recently, and I don't want to talk about that. But anyways, The Lion's Roar by First Aid Kit is a folk album. I absolutely adore the instrumentation and vocals on this album. Both of them are just so soft and lush, and really, this whole album to me just feels like a warm hug. I would say it's my comfort album. Nurture by Porter Robinson also exists. But I've been into First Aid Kit for a while. I think they're underappreciated. Probably the best folk music of the modern era, might I say. No shade to Fleet Foxes, though. Um, but yeah, beautiful vocals, catchy melodies that stick with you, and I don't know, it's just like a slice of life kind of album that I can really just sit back and relax to. Very charming record. What are we on? 4. Number 4 on this list is going to be the quintessential gay furry album, Twin Fantasy Face to Face by Car Seat Headrest. I know. I heard it being described as gay furry music on the internet and decided, well, now I have to check it out. And I loved it because it sounds amazing and I love the songs on it. The writing is impeccable. It captures a good feeling. Both versions of the album are great, by the way. I will say that. I'm not taking a stance on which version of the album is better. I am just going to say for this list specifically that I prefer the Face to Face version just because it contains Famous Prophet's Stars, which might be the greatest song of all time. The problem with this record, though, is that after listening to it, of course I loved it, but I didn't really connect to it with the lyrics until I did, because I had an experience that very similarly mirrored the experience that Will had when writing the album. And now I listen to the album and I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. That's what happened to me. So it is kind of a tough album to return to for emotional reasons, but for that, I can't really take away any points because it's just a phenomenal record, and it hits hard when it wants to hit hard, but man, let me get off the ground first. I wonder if this video is still recording. Number 3 on this list is going to be Swans Are Dead by the band Swans. Now, I am wearing my Public Castration is a Good Idea t-shirt for this video, so I did have to rep the Swans. And I love Swans in all of their versions and styles and whatnot. Hey, even I like The Burning World. So there is that. And while I do absolutely love their 2010s work, The Glowing Man being my favorite studio album by them, there really isn't anything that can compare with Swans Are Dead, because it takes the basically perfect material on Soundtracks for the Blind and somehow just makes it heavier, makes it more atmospheric, makes it just more grandiose. And it really is just an experience. It's a live album, very long, 2.5 hours. But man, is it perfect. Their songs on here are really the best versions of these songs that there could be. I mean, The Sound, Blood Promise, Helpless Child, I Crawled. Vocals on that one are crazy. It's just a thrilling experience in live music form, and I am beating myself up that I wasn't alive to experience that incantation of the band. But at least I can make a video while eating peaches in my corner. My second favorite album of all time is going to be Death Consciousness by Have a Nice Life. It's so dark and murky in the production, which also kind of lends to the fact that it was created on a budget by two college people. But I just think that the lo-fi kind of aesthetic of the album works perfectly in its favor, because in a way it does kind of feel like some sort of lost tape with some really good rock songs on it. Also, the world building surrounding the album and the band really is just really interesting to look through. Again, like I said in the other video, I am a fan of 21 Pilots, but I don't really know that much about their lore. I do know a lot about the Have a Nice Life lore, because that is actually interesting. But yeah, no. Just incredibly atmospheric album, some really, really tight songs on there, and I don't know, it's really high on this list because I can get addicted to listening to it. Number 1 on this list. Now, this is my top album of all time. And I've said it in the other video. I probably said it in other videos, so it's not really a surprise. But my favorite album of all time is Lift Your Skinny Fist Like Antennas to Heaven by Godspeed You Black Emperor. I made a ranking video on Godspeed Black Emperor, Godspeed You Black Emperor. I saw them in concert. I also saw Swans in concert at the same venue in the same year, which is crazy. But anyway, I'm a huge Godspeed You Black Emperor fan. I discovered them before people told me to on the internet, so I found them completely on my own and ended up loving them completely on my own without the influence of websites or like internet critics telling me that I should like it. So post-rock as a genre is just fascinating to me, especially in the style that Godspeed You Black Emperor does it. Just a really special album with really, really incredible songs. Touching, moving, ascension in music form, I would say. This is embarrassing. But yes, that is my favorite album of all time. And honestly, I could say a lot of things about it with total incongruency, but I am just fanatical about that album and that band, and really all of the albums on this list. They're all perfect, and of course, I like more than these 10 albums, but they are, at least as of now, my favorite albums of all time. Another thing is that they might all be sort of newer, because the earliest of them are like from the 90s, and I like, oh, you don't have any like Pink Floyd on there. You don't have any like Rolling Stones or something. I tried doing something, someone said something like that. I love old music too, but also sorry for having a different top 10. So, here we are at the end of the list. My stomach hurts from doing that. Cameron Winter is taking over my life. Please help me.